Bienvenidos, damas y caballeros, to the Spanish Language Lab. We've started a brand new video series where I read another book in Spanish as we continue our journey towards Spanish language mastery. The previous series was Fight Club, El Club de la Lucha. In this series, we're reading a book called Tokio Doesn't Love Us Anymore, um, written by Ray something or another. uh, Loriga, Ray Loriga. I got that right. Great. And the reason why, so unlike Fight Club, which I read like 4 times before, this time I'm new to this book just like all of you. I've never read Tokyo Doesn't Love Us Anymore, or in Spanish, Tokio ya no nos quiere. Um, but I did my research, and this book is very similar to Fight Club. Now, I won't go through the long winded reasons as to why that's the case. Check out the Chapter 1, Part 1 video to listen to the breakdown of this video, of this book. But it's very similar to Fight Club, a lot of the similar themes. We have an unnamed narrator, and the basic gist behind the book is that he's selling a forgetting pill. You have trauma, you have inconvenient truths, you have past memories of one sort or another that you'd much rather forget. Take this pill, and all your problems will go away. But the problem is that as you take this pill more and more and more, you start to lose the sense of who you are because you start erasing greater and greater chunks of your past, therefore greater and greater chunks of your identity, parts of your past that made you into who you are today. It's a type of deal with the devil. So I go into far more detail as to the background of the book in the video that I'm linking. In this video, we're just going to jump right into it. So let's do it. All right. Tokio ya no nos quiere. So in the last video, we left off on this paragraph where it reads a comer. So remember, he's at the pool. He's having a couple of cocktails. So we're up here. He was at the pool having a couple of cocktails. The two little girls and the two weird little girls in the yellow bathing suits didn't appear this time. And then someone suggested to him that he go check out some of the natural landscape. Remember, they're out in Arizona. And so now he is talking with a Apache gordito and su novia, una Apache gordita. Remember, gordita and gordito are a term of endearment. Something you'd say to someone you know. Generally, if you say it to a complete stranger, it may or may not be taken as a term of endearment. All right, so let's get to it. A comer. Así que estamos comiendo y aparece este hombretón grande y moreno con tirantes y patillas y me dice que es español. Y yo le digo que mira qué bien. Y él me dice que es familia del Cid. Ahí es nada. And he says this is like his catchphrase. Ahí es nada. And if you look it up, it means there's nothing there. That's nothing. Ahí es nada. And so there's this big another this is I'm very quickly picking up on this nihilistic theme where he kind of looks everywhere and he sees the hollowness of it. Much like in Fight Club where the main character introduces us to his IKEA furnished like studio apartment. Oh, I have, this really fancy plates and cups made from these artisans in Australia, or I have these bed sheets with these designer drawings, or I have these paintings painted by God who knows who from South America. And it's like, oh, look at all this meaningfulness that's been embedded into my all the meaningfulness that's been injected into my consumer products. This is what brings my life meaning, my little IKEA nesting ground. But really, it's just a thin veneer protecting him from the nothingness of his life. And so that's what I'm picking up here with this catchphrase. Ahí es nada. That's nothing. Right? He said it a few times. He looks around, he sees something. It's like it looks like something, but really, it's nothing. All right. So let's keep going. Y yo me sorprendo de verdad. it kind of reads like Fight Club because he doesn't emphasize what's real in like the real world. In Fight Club, oh, the real world this, the real world that. Okay, let's finish the paragraph. Me sorprendo de verdad. Y el hombre casi se enfada y yo le digo que me sorprendo, desde luego, pero que no lo dudo. Y él me dice que no hay por qué, y luego su novia, que es india, saca unas tortillas de maíz y rellenos mexicanos con pollo, carne mechada y guacamole. Y mis amigos apaches que no saben quién es el Cid, se lo zampan todo en un segundo y luego piden más y más cerveza y luego tequila y luego otra vez cerveza y así hasta que el hombretón nos trae la cuenta y yo lo pago todo. Okay, so they're eating at a restaurant or a taco stand, something, and they're with the family of some guy named Sid, right? La familia de Sid. Ahí es nada. And he's surprised that el hombre casi se enfada. I'm not quite sure what's being said here. I'm going to read this one more time, all right? Just kind of speed read through it. Así que estamos comiendo y aparece este hombretón grande y moreno con tirantes y patillas y me dice que es español y yo le digo que mira qué bien y él me dice que es familia de Cid. Ahí es nada y yo me sorprendo de verdad y el hombre casi se enfada y yo le digo que me sorprendo, desde luego pero que no le dudo y él me dice que no hay por qué. Y luego su novia, que es india, saca unas tortillas de maíz y rellenos mexicanos con pollo, carne mechada y guacamole. Y mis amigos apaches que no saben quién es el Cid, se lo zampan todo en un segundo y luego piden más. Y más cerveza, y luego tequila, y luego otra vez cerveza, y así hasta que el hombretón nos trae la cuenta y yo lo pago todo. So first of all, what's a hombretón? It's like a play on the word hombre. Big man. Ah, big man. In Fight Club, the main character's pet name for like Bob, the big guy, was El Grandullón. Here it's hombretón. That's a new one. They're both new to me. Hombretón. Whenever you add a ton to a word, it makes it sound bigger, like un montón, like a big pile of something, a huge amount of something. Un montón. It's the only example I can think of right now. All right. Okay, so he's out to dinner and he meets some guy from Spain, right? Espanol. When someone says that they're Espanol, I'm thinking, okay, so you're from Spain. Yeah. Because when you say you're Spanish, or you're from Spain. Spain, Spanish. Español, España, right? Otherwise, if you're from Mexico, you say Mexicano, Argentina, Argentino, and so on. So, okay. It's kind of weird though, because some guy tells him that he's Espanol, and then our protagonist says that he looks good, and he says, and then the Spanish guy says, my familia es de Cid. I guess it's a city in Spain. I can't. I have to highlight the question mark. That's all right. We'll keep going. Um, Okay, so they're eating Mexican food, dude. Come on. Tortillas de maíz, rellenos mexicanos, right there, mexicanos. It's an interesting way to spell mexicanos. It threw me off the first time I read that, mexicanos. Yeah, J-I. But in Mexico, the X makes the he sound as well, right? Because it's spelled M-X, M-E-X, mexicano, mexicanos, mexicana, Mexico. That's fine. Mexico has an influence from the Aztecs, the Mayans, And so some of that influenced the way Spanish is spoken in Mexico. So that's another little note, by the way, about Spanish is that every country is going to have its little quirks with Spanish. So you have to remember that Mexico was once called New Spain. It's the first part of the Americas that was colonized by the Spanish Empire. And so I suppose you can say that Mexican Spanish is the oldest type of Spanish that blends indigenous languages in the Americas with Spain Spanish or Spanish. So Mexicanos, the he, the X. Um, and then the same is true with like Argentina. So Argentina has Spanish blended with Italian influence. And so Spanish is a beautiful tapestry of influences. So I'm spending a lot of time on this paragraph. Let's see. Let's keep going. Why not? Let's read. So here we are. Volvemos. They're returning somewhere. Volvemos al coche y damos una vuelta por el pueblo, que es un pueblo enano con casas prefabricadas y un mall. Y uno de esos comedores sociales americanos tan parecidos a los que vimos en el este antes de la caída del comunismo y que aquí se llama McDonald's. That whole sentence threw me off. There's a lot. This is some great writing, if I do say so myself, because I feel like there's something to be said about every paragraph here. Okay, so they return to the coach. They return to the car. They turn around towards the pueblo, um, which is made out of prefabricated homes, and they come across a mall. One of those malls with the comedores sociales americanos. So I'm not sure what that means. Dining rooms, like a Denny's. Uh, very similar to what he saw in the East before the fall of communism. But here they call it McDonald's. That's such an interesting connection to make here, right? So when you think McDonald's, you think, I was going to say Western imperialism, you think American consumer culture. You think like McDonald's is like as almost as American as apple pie. McDonald's is a very distinctly American enterprise. And so for him to say, you know, McDonald's reminds me of the communist Eastern Bloc of Europe. What? What? Like it's a cognitive dissonance. Those two ideas just clash in my mind. I mean, the way this guy plays with the clashing of imagery in the mind, I think is beautiful. I think it speaks to what's how great of a writer he is. I'm having a kick reading this book. I hope you are too, by the way. This is amazing. Okay, the poor. La pobreza en América es de calores, como la Casa Internacional de Panqueque. The poor in America is calories? The poverty. The poverty in America is of calories, like in the International House of Pancakes. Fascinating. Poverty in America is colores, pardon, colors. Poverty in America is colorful, like the International Pancake House. La pobreza en América es de colores, como la Casa Internacional del Panqueque. Poverty in America is colorful. We indulge in low-level consumer culture. That's what the poor people do because that's all you can afford to do. That's my takeaway. And it's not a bad one, by the way. I think it's spot on. Seguimos, seguimos camino, seguimos camino de Fort Apache y atravesamos unas magníficas montañas y un magnífico bosque y hasta un magnífico lago. Fumamos hierba y me preguntan esto y lo otro y yo igual. Quiero decir que yo también les pregunto algunas cosas y llegamos hasta la ciudad, pasamos el casino. Me acuerdo de tu madre. Every time I read that, it just sounds like a mom joke. Like your mom's like, yeah, well, I fucked your mom. Like it just like the 14-year-old in me just comes out to play every time I read that line. All right, let's keep going. Me acuerdo de tu madre y pienso que estaría bien encontrarla ahí, en el único casino Apache de la Tierra y luego, no sé por qué, ¿eh? Estoy seguro de que está dentro y decido que no vamos a parar. La gente nos mira, en realidad unos nos miran y otros no, pero he dicho eso para abreviar y para dejar claro que algunos sí nos miran. Okay, what can I say here? I'm going to read it one more time. I got to read this one more time. Seguimos camino de Fort Apache y atravesamos unas magníficas montañas. All right, we're going towards Fort Apache and we come across some beautiful mountains. Y un magnífico bosque, a magnificent forest, y hasta un magnífico lago, lake. Yeah, lake. Fumamos hierba, herb, grass. Yeah, boy. Y me preguntan esto y lo otro y yo igual. Quiero decir que yo también les pregunto algunas cosas y llegamos hasta la ciudad. Pasamos el casino, me acuerdo de tu madre, y pienso que estaría bien encontrarla ahí. En el único casino Apache de la Tierra y luego. No sé por qué, estoy seguro de que esta está dentro y decido que no vamos a parar. La gente nos mira. En realidad, unos nos miran y otros no, pero he dicho eso para abreviar y para dejar claro que algunos sí nos miran. That's interesting. That's probably the most important part of that paragraph for me, right here. He said, well, in reality, not everyone looked at us. Some people looked at us, some people didn't. But I said that to make things a little shorter, abbreviated, because um, yeah, it's so just some people looked at us, some people didn't. This sounds autistic. That's the kind of detail I'd expect to hear from like someone with autism, you know? Like people looked at us. Okay, that's fine. You can leave it at that unless someone asks a follow up question, right? It's like, well, actually, in reality, some people looked at us and some people didn't look at us. But I said that people looked at us to make things shorter, and now I'm going to give this long-winded ass explanation that was unnecessary, right? It's like, who's doing that? Who speaks like that? Um, I'm sure it's not unique to autistics, but that's a community I expect to just volunteer that information without being asked. Okay, so we're learning more about him. Just the way the writer just puts sentences together. I'm already learning a lot about the way this main character thinks. Now you have to remember this main character gets high on his own supply, the forgetting pill, which hasn't been introduced to us in the book itself. But if you watched the beginning of this video and then the first video to the series, you know that that's a key part of the novel. All right, let's keep going. La casa. La casa. La casa es un poco mejor que las casas de Cayenta, pero una mirilla de todas maneras. Y el chico me explica que es una birria regalada por la seguridad social. Y yo le digo que es la convierte de una birria estupenda. Y lo digo honestamente. Okay, so they go back to the house, and it's one of those gifts from Social Security. But he tells the guy, oh, y le digo que eso la so they converted it into a stupendous birria, which is a type of food. I'm not sure what it means in this birria. You're unable to select the term. Yeah, dude, it's food. Birria. It's a food. That's what it's saying right here. Birria. It's a barbacoa del occidente de Mexico. Um, Maybe some context would help pin this down. A birria given away by social. Yeah, see. Maybe it's a translation error. We can move on. I don't know there's much here. All right. Mis amigos apaches tienen la televisión más grande del mundo y un póster de Jerónimo colgado encima a la derecha y un póster de Johnny Holiday colgando encima a la izquierda. Fumamos más hierba y bebemos cerveza. Cuando se acaba la cerveza, ella va al coche y trae otra caja que debía de estar en el maletero y que está caliente, pero no pasa nada. Y nos la bebemos también cuando se termina la hierba. El chico sale y oigo que arranca el coche y se va y al rato vuelve y mientras ha estado fuera mi amiga Apache y yo apenas hemos hablado. Okay, my mind was, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was thinking about something else while I was reading that paragraph. So we're gonna read that one more time. Mis amigos apaches tienen la televisión más grande del mundo y un póster de Jerónimo colgando encima a la derecha. So Geronimo is a Native American who took on the gringos like 150 years ago, something like that. Y and by take on, I mean he won the war with the U.S. government. All right. Un póster de Johnny Holiday colgando encima a la izquierda. That's interesting. See, right there, that says a lot, actually. So his Apache friends, which it's a type of Native American tribe, um, they have a really big television and a poster of Geronimo, presumably one of their. Look him up. Was he Apache? Uh, yeah. So eight. Yeah. Back in like 100, almost closer to 200 years ago. So between 1858 and 1886, he launched a war against the Mexican and United States government in the zone and the frontier of both countries. Okay, yeah, dude, he's a general, man. All right, so you have a Native American who win the war against the Mexicans and the gringos from the United States, but next to him they have a poster of Johnny Holiday. This guy's a musician for like the '60s, I think, here in the United States. Johnny Holiday, más conocido, Johnny Holiday. He was a singer, composer, and actor. Oh, Frances. Oh, rock in France. No, I thought he was Johnny Holiday. Is such an American name. I'm not going to pursue this further, but okay. If you guys know who Johnny Holiday is, let me know in the comments section. That sounds like an American thing. Sure, he was a French guy born in France, but this sounds like an American musician. But I could be wrong. I don't know everything, and I'll be the first to tell you that. But anyways, so you have Johnny Holiday and you have Geronimo, a poster of each guy hung up on the wall. That's a very interesting contrast. That to me says like, at a minimum, it means they have a diverse cultural influence, these Apaches, right? So they're smoking weed and they're drinking beer, sure. Um, that might be the most important thing in this paragraph. Yeah, that's probably the most important thing in this paragraph, that first sentence. Okay, let's keep going. Oops. Oh, shoot, 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 shoot. There we go. Okay, easy, 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 easy. All right, so we are here. Um, there we go. Ella me, ella me ha, ella me ha preguntado por mi mujer y yo le he dicho que mi mujer está muerta. Ella se ha puesto muy triste, así que le he dicho que en realidad no, que es una broma. Ella se ha enfadado muchísimo y ha dicho que es una broma horrible y yo no he tenido más remedio que estar de acuerdo. Okay, so he keeps saying that his wife is dead. And he's like so detached from fucking reality. He's like, oh, it's just a joke, thinking that's gonna be like a passable excuse. That's my take, right? It's like, come on, man, you're an adult. Like, it's not a joke. Like, like you're lying. I think we know you're lying, or there's something wrong happening in your brain, right? You got hit in the head kind of hard a few times. Maybe you took a couple pills that hit you in the head pretty hard. ¿Qué habrá sido si aquella chica en Hong Kong que vivía en una tenida rodeada de cubos y bandejas y cestas y palanganas de plástico de todos los colores? Cool. What does that mean? One more time. ¿Qué habrá sido? What would happen de aquella chica de Hong Kong? What would happen to that woman from that girl from Hong Kong que vivía en una tienda rodeada de cubos? She lived in a round store of cubes, whatever the fuck that means. Y bandejas y cestas y palanganas de plástico de todos los colores. Yep, I'm not sure what's happening here. What must have become of that girl from Hong Kong who lived in a shop surrounded by buckets and trays and plastic baskets and basins of all colors? I don't know who he's referring to. So let's keep going. Mi amigo. Okay, what's happening here? Stop moving. Mi amigo el Apache no sabe de qué le hablo. Yeah, that makes two of us, bud. Estamos sentados. Oh, no, no, no. Hong Kong isn't from Japan. I was gonna say it is a Tokyo reference, but he said Hong Kong. Mi amigo el Apache no sabe de qué le hablo. Estamos sentados fumando junto a la presa. Se oyen dos disparos. Cazadores de patos, dice mi amigo. Luego pasa otro indio en una barca. Sonríe. Nosotros también sonreímos. Okay, so he thinks he hears two gunshots. But he's like, no, man, it's just some plates. Two shots are heard, yeah. Okay, not much to say here. Let's keep going. Se hace de noche y luego se hace de día. That's an interesting way to say that's to phrase that. Se hace de. It gets dark, then it gets Actually, that sounds pretty straightforward in English, doesn't it? It gets dark, then it gets day. I don't know what that. I feel like there's something there to be said, but it's not important. Let's keep going. Se hace de noche y luego se hace de día. La chica ha desaparecido. Ahora hay un perro muy grande y dos niños sentados delante de la televisión. Mi amigo me dice que son sus hermanos y que tiene otro hermano mayor que está en la cárcel. ¿Por qué? Por entrar de una tienda de licores con una escopeta. También tiene una hermana que está casada con un navajo. Al decir navajo pone cara de asco. Los apaches y los navajos, al parecer, no se llevan demasiado bien. Los navajos son vagos, los apaches no. Bueno, es saberlo. Okay, so there's a hierarchy here. The Apaches are the superior Native American, and the Navajos are vagos. I've heard that word before. I forgot what it means. So let's find out. Vagos, not vague, dude. Come on. And it's not a municipal. No, 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 no. Oh, that's not what he means. No. Why is there gotta be a comma? Hmm. No, that's not what he means. It's a derogatory term. Lazy. Vagos. Yeah, that's probably what it means. It's certainly a derogatory term, I'll tell you that much. Bien es saberlo. Good to know. Sure. Yeah, why not? You got in with the superior ethnicity, I guess. I don't know. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap this up right here. Cuando entramos en Phoenix son las 5 del... oh, wow. One more time. Cuando entramos en Phoenix son las 5 o las 6 de la tarde. Okay. So next time we're gonna take it from here, La Chica de Hong Kong. And that's it. That's it, folks. That's it for Tokio ya no nos quiere. I'm beginning to suspect Tokyo might be his ex-wife. But I have no idea. That's just my 2 cents. All right. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.